The UFC returns to Vancouver, British Columbia on October 18th for a fight night card. The original plan seemed to have Mario Batista taking Umar Nurmagomedov in the main event, but now apparently things are shifting towards Anthony Fluffy Hernandez being in the main event, and Hernandez taking on Rainier de Ritter, which would be a middleweight contest with a lot of implications for a future title contention. It's a really good fight, an interesting stylistic matchup, but I just worry that it's going to kill off a contender as a result. You know, you have RDR and Hernandez and Mava Bahayo as future contenders. This is going to derail the title hopes of one of these guys. And one of these guys could just be thrown into a title shot right away, and the other one as well. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez's wife also indicates that she's going to be in Vancouver, British Columbia soon, furthering giving credence to this rumor that Hernandez is main eventing UFC Fight Night Vancouver October 18th. Stylistically, it is a very intriguing matchup. Fluffy Hernandez always fights pretty much the same way. He's going to try and wrestle you, take you down, hold you down, make you work, try and really deplete your cardiovascular system in the muscular endurance space, but in terms of wrestling and grappling, RDR is really good in those areas, so I don't know how hard it's going to be to take him down. I don't know if he can be held down. If he does get taken down, I could see him reversing position, getting on top, mount, landing strikes, going for submission, so there's probably going to be some crazy scrambles on the ground in this fight. And also, Anthony Hernandez likes to work from the clinch, and RDR likes to throw those big knees to the body from the clinch as well, so that'll be interesting too, because those things can stop a fight. Those can also deplete your energy so much, and he throws so many of them, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic. It's an intriguing stylistic matchup. The cardio is always an advantage for Anthony Hernandez, but the length, the size, the grappling ability, knees of RDR make for an interesting dynamic. He fights in such a unique way and is so effective in his own style that any fight with him is kind of its own entity unto itself. Carlos Prates, after his victory over Jeff Neal over the weekend via tremendous spinning back elbow, wants to fight Leon Edwards next. Ian Gary thinks that Leon Edwards won't take that fight. Ian Gary is coming off a win over Carlos Prates.
There's no chance Leon Edwards is saying yes to fight Carlos Prates in Rio. Let me tell you this. I told Carlos this when I seen him in Las Vegas. He will run from that fight. Leon, his entire career, has been saying how he's sick of fighting wrestlers and he's always fighting people who want to take him down. He wants to fight people on the feet. Carlos Prates will stay on the feet with you. And guess what? He's going to turn it down. Carlos Prates. Tem 0% chance Leon Edwards luta com você no Brasil.
Brandon Royval wanted to fight at Noche UFC in September in San Antonio, Texas against Brandon Moreno, but he says he won't be able to. I wanted to fight on Noche shortly after my call out. I had an MRI done saying I tore my MCL in the fight with Joshua Van. Dealing with the injury, luckily no surgery needed. I'll be in the cage before the end of the year. Sorry to the assassin baby, Brandon Moreno. Royval and Van had a pretty classic fight. I think it was the kicks of Van which caused this MCL tear, and they had a fight of the year contender. Van took the fight by decision, and he gets a title shot next as a result against Pantoja. Coach Ray Longo doesn't think that the UFC 319 main event was boring, but he doesn't blame fans for thinking it was boring, because he thinks the blame should kind of be put on the UFC, because in his opinion, the UFC markets themselves in a way that would make people think that that fight is boring between DDP and Khamzat Chimaev. He says if someone like Aljamain Sterling, one of his pupils, put on a performance like that, Dana White and the UFC would be highly critical of him, so it's a bit of a double standard in his opinion. Dana White and the UFC definitely have certain guys they aren't particularly fond of and are more hypercritical of those guys when they put together a performance that lacks action.
Okay, but John, here's the point. If you're an MMA, person, you're a martial artist, you have to appreciate what Khamzat did. That's not what the UFC promotes. They promote two guys standing up, banging it out. So you can't blame anybody for saying that's boring, because they've been pitching that's boring. You know what I mean? It's almost like what do you want?
You're right.
They don't give Pumi a shot because they say he wrestles too much. And then they have a champion that does that. I think it's unbelievable. I love it all. I'm sure Kenny loves it all too. We can appreciate it from a ground standpoint. You have to say that was an unbelievable performance, but you can't keep changing the fucking goalposts all over the place, man. It's just hypocrisy to its highest. I mean, the fact that they're not coming out and saying that was boring is pretty disturbing because they've led me to believe, especially I'm just using Pumi as a. What if Aljo did that? What if Aljo did that fight, John? What do you think would have happened to him?
No, I mean you're opening my mind. My mind is always open. You're right. No, you're right.
Just a grumpy old fuck, I guess, right? But you know, when you've been around a long time and you see the way people behave,
I guess I just see like him put this.
It gets discouraging. That's all. If Aljo would have did that, I want to have somebody say, would they say it was a phenomenal fight? No, they would have went right to boring, and nobody would have given a shit. And again, Hamza, phenomenal. We're not saying nothing. That was against a guy that I really didn't think he could do that against. He made it look super easy.
He did make it look easy, and he only absorbed 13 significant strikes in the whole fight, so that's pretty crazy to only absorb 13 over the course of 25 minutes. But interestingly, Hamzat only landed 37 significant strikes in the whole fight, despite having like 22 minutes of ground control time. So some interesting stats coming out of that 25-minute fight. It is very rare for a challenger for the belt to win 50-44 on all the scorecards, have such a lopsided decision in their favor, but that was the case with Hamzat and DDP. That's something that Paddy the Batty Pimblett noted. He also appreciated the technical aspect of the grappling and the wrestling. Being a fighter himself, he could appreciate that.
This isn't going to be like a fun fight to watch, but the people who actually do MMA and are like old school fans, they'll appreciate it because, well, I appreciate it because this is the levels of the game, and Hamzat's grappling levels high. I don't know if I've ever seen a fight like this, like champion, such a one-sided beatdown, because Chimaev's nearly won every second of this fight. So I mean, you know, the crowd are booing, but it's not Hamzat's fault. They just can't stop him doing this.
One situation from the past, which was a little similar to DDP versus Hamzat Chimaev in terms of the challenger winning a lopsided decision in a title fight, was Randy Couture versus Tito Ortiz. Couture was the interim champ. He was trying to win the undisputed title from Tito Ortiz in the light heavyweight division, and it was a lopsided decision in the favor of the challenger. Couture won 50-44, just like Hamzat did. He won 50-44 on two of the scorecards. One judge had it 50-45. But there was a lot more action in terms of ground and pound in that fight. Couture was landing much more strikes on the ground. Frankie Edgar about to die and turn into Frankenstein in BKFC. And now we got to get Ngannou in BKFC. Oh my God, that'd be crazy. That Sandhagen KO was way more than enough for his brain. This is more dangerous than people realize. You guys so critical of BKFC, forgot to mention those losses were in MMA style losses, not boxing losses. Everything you report when it comes to BKFC is trash. I don't even remember what I said, but yeah, I love BKFC. That shit's so entertaining, and I'm gonna still watch the Frankie Edgar versus Jimmy Rivera fight and Mike Perry versus Jeremy Stevens in the main event in Newark, New Jersey.
Now you're my boy Ed, dude, and he don't carry one in the chamber. So if you guys want to roll up on Ed, just know there ain't one in the chamber.
That one second is gonna be like that's too bad.
No, bro, you carry one in the chamber always. Always.
I'll just push up, bro.
No, that's woman work. That's woman work. No.